It's your boy, Lil T3rry, and it's showtime, baby.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Lil T3rry, and we are with EFABU. What that stand for? Empowering for a better you. And today we have a very special guest that we're gonna bring onto the channel. But first, I just want y'all to know what the topic is all about. What it's all about is not all women the same. Now, coming from men, we don't think all women the same, but of course, women think all men the same. Now, this specific lady believes that all women are not the same, and I have also talked to majority of other women, and they think that women are not the same as well. So, before we get into this topic, let's touch on this Diddy situation. It's crazy. This Diddy situation is crazy, but if it's true, you know what I'm saying? Anybody, you know what I'm saying, should go down if it's true. Now, the crazy part is this. Same thing with R. Kelly, the same thing with what's his name? The Puddin' Pop guy. You know what I'm saying? I can't think of his name right now, but the Puddin' Pop guy, the same thing with him, Bill Cosby. Same thing with him. They've been doing these things for years. There's no way you can tell me that they haven't been knowing what's been going on with these popular artists or actors. You know what I'm saying? People that's inside the camp, around the camp, they know what's going on. You know what I'm saying, with these people, what they doing. So if he's gonna go down, or this or she's gonna go down, the camp need to go down. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, it's just like going through like rating. You know, what is it? Drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? Now you get this person down, you get that person down, you interrogate this one just to get the main source. But what about the people that's behind the brand or within the brand? Get them down too. You know what I'm saying? So he's not alone if this is true. He's not alone if this is true. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this is his life. This is something that he has to face. I'm not the person that judge people. You know what I'm saying? So if this is what you're doing, you have to face consequences at the end of the day. So that's that. That's on that. But before we get to the show, I just want to bring on a lovely lady. We was going back and forth with, you know, certain things, certain topics that I had said on my first episode, which was a major success. And I just can't wait to see, you know, what the light is, how the light gonna shine today. I know the light gonna shine because, like, when women say not all women the same, not all women thinks the same, and not all women do the same, you feel what I'm saying? I definitely want to know what their point of view is. So, no, I'm not gonna hold you no longer. I'm gonna bring the lovely lady up. She go by It's Debra Sue on Facebook. We call her Debra Sue. So, no longer. Welcome to the show, Debra Sue. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? I know I'm a little bit late. Ow. There she is. I am so sorry. What's happening? What's happening?
Not a lot. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. You have a lot of interesting subjects that we probably need to talk about, right?
So before we get, I'm gonna let you narrate. You know what I'm saying, the things that you want to talk about, and then we could just dive in because obviously that show sparked, you know what I'm saying, a lot of questionings, and I'm here to answer from my point of view, and of course I want to know your point of view, and then we're gonna see what the community says. So, go. You got the flow. What's happening?
Well, you know what, I think like most people, and it's not totally by design, I think that people tend to generalize other people according to either their sex or their status in life. And I think it's a grave mistake for any of us to assume that any and every person is the same, like all women are not alike and all men are not alike. And I think on the comment that I had addressed with you is that, you know, women are different at different stages in life, you know, and even with some of the characteristics that you had described, some of the things that you had said, I think it almost applies, is if you will, it's across the board. Men act in a certain way at a time in their life, and women do it a time in their life, and most people grow past that, and some people don't.
Uh-huh.
And some people
Okay.
don't. And so that was my main thing for you. My main reason for saying what I did is that you can't generalize women and say that all women are like this or all women are like that, because I'm nothing like women that you describe, and never have I been, although I have been around women in certain categories. So I literally think I can authentically speak on what I'm saying. I'm from a family of 7 and 4 of us are women.
Wow,
4 of us.
that's big.
Yeah, 4 of us are girls. So, we've kind
Okay.
of all gone through the things. And then I have all nieces, 1 nephew, and then my grandchildren are all girls and 1 boy. So I've been around women long enough to say that, and I think you do agree with me in the back of your mind somewhere. I think you do agree with me, is that we have to look beyond generalizing people. Now, I realize, and I have to say, that women today are presenting a certain, I want to call it a facade. They're presenting a certain facade about themselves that really have people putting them in a category of being, just, stupid, loose, this, that, and the third. I heard somebody saying some things about this young lady, the red girl that's out, and then somebody said something else about another. Well, you know what? I highly doubt that young woman has always been that way. When the industry grabs a hold of you, you are what the industry wants you to be. Literally,
Now,
you sell your soul, as they say, to be what makes money for them. You'll get money too, but they're making triple whatever they're paying you.
so
And that's
speaking
just
about,
talking about the industry side. So I want to kind of keep it, on a level that everybody can relate to.
okay, so speaking about the industry, so when when we speak about industry, it's more Hollywood, right? So let's take it back a few years when they got R. Kelly. Okay, now R. Kelly obviously took the bigger route, you know what I'm saying, of getting the 30 years or the 20 years, and he's gone, right? Now, prior to that sentence or the press of the media, what about the parents? Obviously, it had to be a money motive, you know what I'm saying, to get young ages inside of that circle, in a sense. The kids is not necessarily pushing their selves to it, but the I believe the parents had some type of money motive to get to. It's like pimping your kids, or selling your kids, but then when the money dry, you know what I'm saying, now you want to speak up or say something about it. But do we only go after the source, or do we go after the camp? And how do we approach that moving forward, though? You know what I'm saying? It's way bigger than just R. Kelly. I'm talking about the
I
people
agree
that was.
100. I agree with you 110%, because as a businesswoman and a mom myself, that's the very first thing I thought about, other than the prosecution of R. Kelly. And I know some people who were on that team, to be honest with you. So I'm not going to speak personally about his situation, but I will tell you, for the women that were involved in this situation, that were under, in my opinion, under 21, but a lot of them were under 18. I absolutely agree with the parents having some type of responsibility for that. And so since some of them were aware of what was going on, then they share just as much guilt, in my opinion. Let's compare that to the young man out here in Michigan that got a hold of a gun and he killed people, and you see who they're holding responsible? The parents. The mother got a pretty long sentence in jail, and the dad, if I'm not mistaken, I think he got prosecuted also, and he's guilty.
Double back. Why did they go after the parents?
Because
it's a narrative around that.
Because he's a minor. Number one, he's a minor, and then number two, to be honest with you, according to the prosecutors, the parents did not see to the mental stability of the child. And so they felt because he was mentally unstable, the parents should have taken him and got him some counseling, but they didn't. And not only did they not do that, they didn't secure their guns. In fact, the father, I think, bought him the gun and never took it away. And so that is why the parents were held responsible. And so the parents are responsible primarily, as the courts are trying to hold it out, is that he's a minor and they should have seen to his actions way before then, because according to the school, the boy had a whole lot more problems but it had started way prior to this particular situation. And they felt that it should have been addressed. And I agree, because there was a study that just came out that says that there's more depression among young people that started in the late 1970s, early 1980s, ever since social media came out. You know, and I can see, you can absolutely see if there's been a change in generations, because the kids, literally their mind is focused on social media. They try to be like someone, they can't meet up to someone. You have social bullying now. And so this depression with these young people at some form has to be dealt with, rather it's, and in my opinion, I'm that mother, because when the minute you start showing me some symptoms, I'm taking your phone away. You're
Truthful.
not getting on social media.
But my question with this, right? So obviously we know parents versus schools, the kids spend more time in school than they do at home, right? Okay, so as a parent, now we can fight parents in the majority of certain situations, but there are counselors, there are on-hand teachers, there's principals that see these kids more than their parents. So can we turn to a page to where, like, okay, we can look at the system itself within these schools that can say, okay, this child has a problem, you know, but the system allowed that student to come every day knowing that this kid has a problem. Now, once something happens, knowing that this kid has a problem, now we want to point fingers to the parents. How can we create a system to where we pointing fingers to both ends? Because the kids, I mean, the parents is only spending 3 to 4 hours a day with that child from school to when they go to sleep. The system has the kids in their what is it called, personal,
In their care and keeping. They're in their care and keeping. Yeah,
for
well, you know
more
what? That's
hours.
that
You get what I'm saying?
that's really a twofold question, and here's why I'm going to say that. Irregardless of where your children are, with you being the parent, when it comes down to legalities, you are the one that's responsible for your child. Now, from my understanding from this previous conversation that we just had about the young man in Michigan, the counselors were involved. And there were notes sent home. And one teacher had even noticed some very odd drawings in a book that he had. She reported that, you know, so I think in some instances you do have people in authority that have your children that do practice due diligence. I think they do. But we also know that there's always going to be cracks in the system. Everybody cannot 100% watch a child in a classroom full of 30 kids. But I give kudos to the ones that did and the ones that did report this situation. However, in this instance, the parents didn't follow through. Even the child said, my parents didn't, they didn't care about what I asked them or what I said to them. And I guess they had
that situation is crazy.
It's very, but you know what?
I can't go against that
for one situation like him, there's 5,000 others that are like that, because like I said, there's a study that just came out and it says that, I can't remember the percentage, was a very high percentage of young people that are going through depression right now. And this is a result of depression. They can say it's COVID or whatever they want to, because really, I don't think so.
That's an excuse.
That's an excuse.
Yeah.
I don't buy that at all. Yeah. But I also do believe, and trust me when I say this, parents do bear a responsibility, because if you see that your child is non-responsive or he's not getting the best grades in school, at some point, what do you intervene? When do you intervene as a parent and say, okay, I'm going to get you a tutor, or I'm going to pull you out of that school and you're going to go to an account, wherever it is. Sometimes a situational awareness of what's going on with your child can help save your child's life. You know, you have to be, because at the end of the day, I birthed that child. You birthed that child. And so you're responsible to say, hey, I don't want you in public school if this is how you're going to act. Or if your teachers don't care about, you know, your education, this, that, and the third. So, you know, it is your responsibility. Yes.
Well, let me ask you this, right? We have more women nowadays that's in their own profession career. That we have more entrepreneurs than we did back in the day.
Right.
So when it comes down to entrepreneurship, especially when it comes down to women, now you know nowadays women has more not control, but more when it comes down to a child, like the dad is not there in all homes. So the woman take care of, you know, the kids nowadays majority of the time. So
right.
With that being said, when the woman is chasing a career, I understand how, it could be lack of attention. There's no sit down. You're not necessarily sharing the space as playing video games or reading a book or just dialoguing to one another. When mommy get home, it's time to go to sleep. When next time you see mama, it's time to go. It's time to go to. Well, she got to go to work. You know what I'm saying? So how do as a parent, and I'm not neglecting the men, but we just know how the system is. You know what I'm saying? Like majority of the time, males is not there. We have to work on that, males. We have to work on that. But at the end of the day, that's just what's going on right now. So how do we educate or create some type of system or motivate the parents to be more involved, especially when all the responsibilities is on her in a sense?
Well, I have to address that because I know a handful of women entrepreneurs. I'm one of them. But let me say this. I know women who run 2 or 3 businesses and do not tolerate nonsense out of their children. I think they are some of the toughest moms that I have ran into, and I think that that laxity is not there. They have no when they come home from work, their children are priority, and they may have to stay up a couple hours later to finish whatever they need to do. But when they're home, they cook the dinner, they check the homework, they do what they need to do. So I shout out and give many, many props to moms who are doing that, because I see more responsible moms now, single women who are becoming entrepreneurs, not just entrepreneurs, but they're getting their higher education degrees as well, and their children are straight in line. And so, likewise, I've seen families who have dads in the home, and they're some of the worst kids you ever want. I think you really, and here we are again. We can't categorize. We actually have to encourage both parents to be involved in the raising of their children and in the discipline of their children. And like I said, for some of the women that I know, they discipline their children and they reward them. They have a discipline and a reward system for their kids. And I'm telling you, I know beyond a handful of women that are handling their business as moms and as single moms. But I think part of the problem, and we all go back to this, is that since so much of the power has been taken away from the parents or parents in the home as to how they rear their children or how they discipline their children, that's been taken away. It's been taken away by Big Brother, if you will, because now you have child services involved at every point in your venture, that when you discipline your children, however it might be. I saw a woman that her child skipped school and she followed the child all the way to school, but made her walk. And she got in trouble with CSB for that. I mean, in my day, that's what happens when you miss your bus or you skip school. You're going to walk. I'm going to make sure you get there, okay? But somehow or another, she got in trouble for that. Or if you discipline your children physically, as long as it's not gone too far, they even intervene in that. And so I think that we need to get back to the point where parents understand what true discipline is. And it's not always physical discipline. You have to see what irks your child. Like if they hate that you take away everything in their room, and I do mean everything, or they can't go the whole summer. You spend your summer with me in the house cleaning, or you're going to go to summer camp or something like that. We have to look for alternative ways to help parents administer discipline to their kids in the right way that's beneficial for the child.
Well, let me ask you this. To touch the area of when I say all women think the same, but then you say all women don't think the same in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
When you speak about power women, the ones that's actually grinding and making a name for themselves, and then come back home and they don't play no games, but and they about education and providing for their child, right?
Mm-hmm.
It made me realize that the mindset that I had it only comes from my past.
Mm.
And my past was from the ones that might have got beaten, cheated on, or nothing came good out of their past relationship. Now all of a sudden, since that didn't work, they making an excuse of why the future can't work in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that don't touch the area where you're talking about. So obviously the mindset that you have, obviously it comes with wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Where I come from don't come with wisdom, because it's only come from people that's only come from hurt, but not necessarily trying to better their future and give the future a chance. You know what I'm saying? So it's two perspectives, and I understand why you feel the way that you feel. Now, most young women need to hear this, but at the end of the day, everybody want to be cool. Everybody want to be friends with their kids. You know, it's really lax nowadays, and it's a lot of young parents nowadays that's broadcasting through social media than it was back then.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. Back
Well,
then,
yeah, let me go ahead and address that then, okay? Because you just mixed a whole lot of stuff up. I apologize for this because I'm trying to make something for my granddaughter to eat here, and I had this fire up way too high.
Hey, we don't this ain't we ain't got no professionals. This ain't open. this is Empower for Better You. We in there. Go.
Okay, let me get back down here. Okay, now let's talk about that, okay? Because even though I'm older, don't get it twisted, as y'all say.
Wisdom.
Okay?
You can have wisdom at 21.
Here, I am the same person. Also, I'm from that background as well, and I have, we didn't grow up rich. We didn't grow up, privileged or anything like that. But our parents struggled, as most parents did in my day. Our parents struggled. And so in instances like that, where you have kids who come from, homes that struggle or don't have this, or they come from a relationship with an abuser, we can't categorize and say because you're older, you haven't been, a lot of our older women have been where our young women are at right now. It's just a matter of how we choose to move on from that. And you're absolutely right. I think that too many of these young women have not had a young life, and they tend to live their lives through the eyes of their children. And so they want to be friends. They want to party with them. They want to, to throw a shot up, take a smoke or what have you. And to be honest with you, all of that is inappropriate. Every last bit of it is inappropriate when you party with your children as if they were your age or older. They are your child. They are a minor. Now, if your child happens to be 18 or 21 and you in your 40s and 50s, get a life. Get a life. You do not need to party with your children. You'll go out for dinner every now and then, treat them to a birthday, whatever. That's one thing. But to go out and party and do all this, body gyration, and no, it's complete. What are you teaching what kind of pattern are you setting for your young woman in your life?
Direction, structure, foundation.
Absolutely. It's nothing wrong with having fun, but I gather up the girls that are your age or somewhere close, but not your children. Not your children and not their children.
You shouldn't be on the same page.
We all want to have fun in life. We all want to have a good time, this, that, and the third. And we teach our kids by example. Now, I don't know if you're a scriptural person or not, but Jesus wasn't considered grown until he was 33. In the Jewish faith, you're not considered grown until you're 33. So in my opinion, when you are with your kids, 33, 32, 20 or whatever, that's still your child.
Yes.
And I've been to some questionable situations. I went to a couple card parties out of state or whatever, and you see the kids and the parents sitting and smoking and drinking together. No, I won't be a part of that. That's inappropriate.
I was raised by my grandma. I call her Mom Duke. She adopted me, so that's Mama. But I was raised by her, so you can imagine. I was in the churches. I raised with manners. Nowadays, you can't even say yes, ma'am to to no woman nowadays. I don't know why. But everybody want to feel young. Of course, I respect that, but it's a form of respect. But at the end of the day, they don't like yes ma'ams now.
Yeah, but you know what? That's a general statement again, because it depends on the female that you're talking to. Quite frankly, when I had a showdown, I took a couple of my artists to a showdown in Atlanta, and every gentleman there said yes ma'am, open doors. I mean, it was really a Southern.
I got snapped on from open the door.
And let me tell you something. Listen. I love it. And you know what? We took our grandson out to eat the other day. He's 2.5 years old. And he when he got up to the table, he pulled the chair out for his mother. Okay. He pulled the chair out for his mom at 2.5. He said, "Here, mommy, this is your seat." See, we have to train our young men to do that, because trust me, when it comes to being marriage material, most women want a man who's going to at least show some gentleman qualities about himself and not just be, because what it really boils down to is a matter of consideration. I personally like it when the opposite sex shows me consideration or shows me some respect. And for women who want to be independent and they don't want that, they're missing out, to be honest with you, because...
How did we get there? How did we
social
get
media,
to I don't need a man?
Social media and influence. I really do believe that what has happened. And you know, I kind of work with folks in the industry, and I hate to say that it's the music, because I can't necessarily say that it all is because of the music content. Some of it is, I'm not gonna lie. You know, some of the music content does contribute to the conditions of how men think and how young women think. But I think, again, it starts in the home. It starts in the home. The parents have not, you know, instilled in their son to be a gentleman and open the door for ladies, or for ladies to say, hey, you know what? This does not demean you. This actually shows respect for somebody who says that's a real woman right there, or that's a nice female right there, and it's my job to hold the door for her, or it's a courtesy to hold the door for her. Because trust me, I've been in some places where, you know, men haven't, of all ages, to be honest with you, of all ages. And I think the courtesy and respect, it has eluded people. And because I do the same thing for older people. I'm not going to walk in front of an elderly person or behind and not grab the door for them.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
It's a matter of respect. And even though I'm older than you, or I'm older than some other people who are older than me, I give that gray hair that respect, because they've got more wisdom. And if they don't, you know, they probably got some ailments, pulling the door open or something. What happened to human kindness is what I should say, not necessarily what happened to the women, or what happened to human respect. What happened to being able to accept respect and not feel like there's a ball and a chain that comes with it.
So, okay, so when you speak about self-respect, right? Obviously, nowadays, there's not enough women. Well, let me stop speaking in general terms, okay? How can I rephrase it? There are women nowadays, not all,
yeah,
but they do not come from, you know, like self-love, self-centered, self-confidence. They feel as though that they need to do something else to feel good. How do we change? How can we change that narrative, even from a man's point of view towards the woman, and from a woman's point of view towards the woman? Because obviously, these wigs is getting out ridiculous, makeup is getting ridiculous, these eyelashes is getting ridiculous. I mean, I was just making a video funny to my wife, saying, like, every time you put on a wig, I'm marrying a different woman. You might as well just change the name. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, what's up?
Well, you know what? Again, if you look back prior to when we had all the social media, okay, and prior to when we had all this exposure and time that's being spent on the phone, we didn't have all that. We didn't have all that. Now you see mega stars who are over exaggerating themselves, not just accentuating themselves, because, you know, all women have the right to accentuate themselves without the approval of a man. I will tell you that right now. If a woman wants to feel better about herself by doing her hair different or putting on eyelashes, that's one thing. But now when you over accentuate stuff, when they got the eyelashes that are like,
I'm talking about the ones be the fans.
Exactly. Yeah. And then everybody's getting the BBLs. And unfortunately, as a consequence, many of these young women are dying who haven't even had a chance to live life and stretch their skin by having a couple kids. I mean, literally, you shouldn't really have any of that done until you have children. You know, so they say, unless you don't plan on having
it. You know what's crazy? I'm sorry to cut you off. You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Lil Kim, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know that she was fixing her body.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Kim was an idol to many women and to many even males, not as like, you know, we want to be like Lil Kim, just saying like we was a fan of Lil Kim. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden when social media come, we get into her business as she did her lip and her booty and all that type of stuff. Now all of a sudden we look at Lil Kim different.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is pros and cons, but at the end of the day, we done manipulated the minds of these women. Now all of a sudden they want to be what's represented in Hollywood. We didn't have that back then. When Lil Kim looked like Lil Kim. We didn't try to be like Lil Kim. We just knew that she was pretty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'll probably see your kid put on a wig and dance, if you know what I'm saying, to her music, whatever like that, or try to put on high heels. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays, They going all in.
Well, you know what? It used to be a time when women did that. It wasn't a thing that was talked about or glorified. I mean, cosmetic surgery has been around for years. You know, and you'd have someone go in, they may get a nose thinning or they may do whatever. It wasn't glorified.
It was not glorified.
And so now every time someone gets something done, they again, I say it, they over sensualize them. So like Kim kind of went, we thought, to the point of no return, and I think she got a lot of that cosmetic surgery reversed, where she's starting to look more like herself.
We didn't know,
and we didn't know. You know, we did not know, and so and then now women get it done, and they actually put the procedures, you know, on social media as it's being done, and it, you know what it is? It's all for attention. Everybody wants these numbers. Everybody wants to have somebody recognize them. And to be honest with you, that's where the flaw is. That's where the downfall is that if you really need to do such drastic things to your body, drastic stuff where you're getting cut on, risking your life, you're flying over to somewhere in Mexico to go to some backyard cosmetic surgeon that nobody knows, you know, because they're cheaper over there, because you want so badly to refigure your body. And again, I have absolutely nothing against plastic surgery. I have nothing against a woman bettering herself, but can you do that in the privacy of your own self? You know, do you have to put everything up on social media? More importantly, is it worth your life? Because if it's not worth your life, don't get it done. When you walk into these these plastic surgeons, they tell you, you sign a document that says your life. In other words, you can die in this procedure. You sign it anyway, and you're not even in you're in a third world country that has no ability to save your life. You know, why on earth would you if I'm going to a top-notch surgeon here in the United States, and they got level 1 trauma hospitals that they can rush you to surgery and possibly save your life, you know.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah.
Nobody look good 2 or 3 years after they done. Cardi B, you can tell that she's losing it. I'm just speaking my mind. You can see it in Nicki Minaj. Like you look good, but when you look closely and you see video, you ain't looking good.
You know why?
And I wish that these women's understand that you ain't looking good.
You know why? Here's why. And this is why I wish women would really double think what they are doing. When you go and get this surgery at a young age, you forget that you still have to age. And as you age, you're still going to put weight on in places where you didn't have that surgery. So now you start to look uneven. The body doesn't look like it's real. It's been sculpted in such a way you look like a plastic doll because, you know, you didn't remember that you still have to age. And so now what do you do at 50 and you've got a double D, you know, boob of some sort where they're actually trying to sag, and that is a process of life. That is what happens where things start to sag after you turn 50 and 60. And I think all of them are approaching their 40s, or at least I think Nicki is anyway, and Cardi's probably in her 30s. Was she 20? How old is Cardi? I don't know, because I'm not going to.
She in her 30s.
Okay, but so the thing is that the aging process still has to happen, and now you look at yourself and you're like, oh, I still need to go get this tucked because this is falling, or this doesn't look right. So you still have to have all these follow-up surgeries, which, by the way, become more dangerous the older you get. You know, the older you are and you undergo anesthesia, my background is medical, by the way, the older you get, the higher your risk potential is. Okay. Right. And so, and I'll be honest with you, since we're talking about blame, and I think doctors do a fairly decent job in explaining what the processes are, but I don't think they take it far enough to go down and say, okay, 10 to 15 years from now, because I think boob implants only last, I think some of them are up to 15 years and you have to go get those replaced. You know, we might have some technology that take them out a little bit further, but let's talk about that. You know, you got all these implants.
I'm gonna say this. If you're spending, I wish I was everybody thought the way that I thought. Mm-hmm. If there's a celebrity that's able to spend as much money as possible to look the way that you want to look, and it messes up, that plan is over with me, because I don't have that money. Right. You feel what I'm saying? Like I can raise 100,000 and go spend it, but then I gotta raise another. And this is a millionaire spending money on her body and is getting toe up. I'm talking about like, I'm not interested in that because I don't have that money like she have.
Right.
So that thought process is crazy.
And that's why so many people do go out of the United States, because the procedures are cheaper, you know, to go out of state and get it done. Now, you got some people, I'll be honest with you, because we were talking about Kim. Kim got a lot of her cosmetic surgery reversed. And quite frankly, she looks better now to me. She looks more natural. You know, she can smile. She doesn't have quite so much of the Botox.
You said Lil Kim look good?
Lil Kim looks better than she did 10 years ago because she had so much stuff in her face.
I gotta go check Lil Kim out.
Yeah, go check Lil Kim out because look, she was kind
of looking alike.
Who is that?
That Tiny. Her and Tiny.
Yeah. Well, you know something. Yeah, go check out Lil Kim and look at how she looks now because she's got some stuff reversed. The same for China, that young girl who was dating that Kardashian fellow. She looks a lot better. She got almost all of her cosmetic surgery reversed, and she.
But how do you get it reversed? Like, do they save your old looks? Like, they gonna put it in the freezer?
No, what they do is when you have the implants put in, they take them out. They take out the implants. They take out. Some people get the high jaws and stuff put in. They take all that stuff out, and because they're young enough, their skin has elasticity in it, so it can kind of bounce back. You just don't have the high arches, or you don't have the larger boobs. Because if you go look at her. She looks a lot better. I frankly always thought she was a beautiful woman. Even when she was Rob Kardashian, she was beautiful, but you could tell she had too much done. And so she has had all of that reversed. And quite frankly, I think she looks better now, to be honest with you.
It's one face structure that I do not like.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen Sisters?
Yes.
I watch it with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the lady's name, but she's the one that has the assistant. I think she's a lawyer.
Okay.
The jaw structure, the high chin, and they fix their jaws to be pointy. I can't stand that look.
You know who else did that?
Who?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson don't count.
Michael Jackson. Well, so let's talk about it. Because
right.
Men have cosmetic surgery too.
We ain't talking about the men right now. We talking about the women.
But what I'm saying is, the procedure to realign and rebuild your whole jaw. What they do is they chisel it, is what it's called. And so it is not for everybody, and you can definitely tell that surgery has been done when you see something like that.
So do you think Michael Jackson started the trend of this?
No, it came way before Michael. It came way before Michael Jackson. He was just over exaggerated, but he's also a superstar who liked being over exaggerated. You know, you get people in higher places that have that kind of money. They like doing things to make themselves stand out and be different from everybody else. They just do. So
we just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to create a whole new body. That's what we're doing nowadays.
Well, when you look at some of these people, that's exactly what they're doing. You got girls who have small chests and they see all women around them that men think are, you know, 10s and whatever. And so that's what they go get. Because, you know, I have always said this, if men didn't, you know, visualize and over sexualize women, a lot of these women wouldn't even care to have any of that done. But
I'm glad you took it there.
Okay, because I always say people want to complain about strip clubs, but who's the customers in strip clubs? It's men. You know, if you don't like what women do for their professions or what have you, why?
You there? You there? Are you there? Dang, it was getting spicy. Can y'all still hear us? Okay. Look like we lost her. If you're still out there, Deborah, I would definitely love to bring you back on. It was getting a little bit spicy, but yeah. She is very, 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 very smart, educated. Like, she can actually save a lot of women out here. I could personally say that. She could save a lot of women out here. It's a lot of women that chases attention in for the wrong reasons. Like, why do you have to change your body? Why do you have to put on makeup? Why do you have to? I mean, it's good to do it for yourself, but when you're doing it to please a man, in a sense, man, that's when everything goes bad. Most of these men ain't really caring about no relationships nowadays. I'm just gonna be real with you. They only want the little tootie tots. You feel what I'm saying? They just want to dip. That's it. That's all. Ain't that many men looking for real love. Same thing with women. You feel what I'm saying? Now, women, I could say women seeking, you feel what I'm saying, to be loved, but a lot of men is not willing to give the love. You feel what I'm saying? They just want to just be themselves and do them. That's just me. That's just my, you know what I'm saying, my true opinion. Not saying that I'm correct. That's just how I feel. But based on, you know, what we were speaking about, dealing with the topic, and not all women is the same. I love how she was able to challenge me in my mind, you know, my way of thinking, you know, and she's correct. There's a lot of women out here that don't mind working but come home, you know, and make sure the kids are straight. They very, very disciplined. They know exactly what type of child they are raising and different things of that nature. So I do truly respect that in a sense. So with that all being said, man, I appreciate y'all for actually being a part of this show. We definitely gonna have a part 2 with Miss Debra Sue. So it's your boy Lil T3rry on EFABU, that is Empowering for a Better You, and we out.
It's your boy, Lil T3rry, and it's showtime.